Question 614. What is the most ridiculous job you have ever applied for?
Does guest on critical questions count?
Did you apply?
No.
Or were you randomly plucked?
I was thinking I was headhunted, wasn't I?
I didn't really apply for this. I just got a message from Dave saying, like, oi, questions.
One time when I was laid off, I applied to be an advertisement copywriter and I had no experience, but you have to apply for so many jobs each week to get your unemployment. So that's
same here.
That was one that I applied for.
And you got it?
No, but they did. I did get an interview, and it was like the shadiest of shady situations. Like I got there, and there were like folding chairs and laptops set up on folding tables, and it was so fly-by-night looking and creepy. Another condition of unemployment in my state is if you're offered a job, you have to take it. So I got lost on my way to the second interview. Yeah, because I really did not. I was like, this does not smell right. It smells like a pyramid scheme.
It's a little difficult one for me to answer because I've had the same job for like 20 years now. So
that must be
job ridiculous?
It is a pretty ridiculous job if you actually think about it in an abstract sense.
There was a like a children's program when I was very young that made that look like a really, really good job. It lied to me.
Have you got a cat?
I do not have a cat.
You're doing it wrong then.
They do not even give you a black and white cat.
What the hell do you do, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm reacting like I know what you're talking about, and I don't.
I'm a postal worker.
I'm nodding, and I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about. Huh?
I'm a postal worker.
Oh, cool. My grandpa was a postal worker.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
It's hard to get into the post office right now, so be glad that, I mean, it has been for years. Ever since it was
I do know.
out. Yeah.
Because USPS is privatized now as well, isn't it? So.
Well, no, it's not really, but they're trying to make that happen. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it pretty much is, but they run it exactly the same, but it's owned privately.
I know.
Oh,
but now they make it harder to get in.
I do happen to know some US postal workers, so.
Oh, that's lame, because that used to be a good government job.
Seraphim knows what I was talking about. Yes, Postman Pat made that job look so like great when I was a kid, and it's like, oh, this is really cool.
You hand delivered everything to the person.
Yes.
In a helicopter, in a van.
Helicopter. They give you a cat. And you stop after every 2 letters to have a cup of tea. It just seemed like this is a nice job.
How many tons do you stop for?
I think for it to be like Postman Pat, you would have to be the postman for a small village where everyone's made of plasticine.
Possibly, yeah. The plasticine bit is the key part there.
Yeah, because most small villages now the post office is been centralized, so you have to go for a plasticine village.
Yeah, I don't think there was a lot of people that he was that came out to him complaining about where the fucking gyros were in Greendale. So
I blame you that things haven't been sent.
Yeah.
I should ring you up about post.
How many hyacinth bouquets did you have?
I've got one who is way worse than that in real life. Okay.
You've got to be kidding me. How can there be somebody worse than Hyacinth Bucket?
She's like a cross between Anne Widdecombe and Dolores Umbridge.
Okay, see, I know who Hyacinth Bucket is, Bouquet is, but I don't know those other two names, so now I'm confused again.
Dolores Umbridge is the pink lady from Harry Potter.
Oh, right. No, I didn't know that. Okay.
If you want to know who,
and I can't remember who the other one is.
Anne Widdecombe,
MP.
That's right. That's why I can't remember. Yeah.
She's a former politician who most recently, if I'm remembering correctly, ran for the Brexit Party.
Yes, and she got in. And if you want
Well,
to
that kid,
if you want to know how sort of not
I didn't know she got in.
yeah. If you want to know how obnoxious she is, there's a debate that she was involved in about 10 years ago of on the Catholic Church, because she's a Roman Catholic.
I'll put money that Julie's seen that debate.
You probably have. It was her and some Catholic Archbishop against Stephen Fry and Christopher Hitchens. I think the
Yes.
Hitch slapped and deep fried. I think.
Yes, I've seen that debate. That's the one where is the Catholic Church a force for good in the world?
Yes, that's it.
You know the
So
one
good.
that's Anne Widdecombe.
Oh, that bit. Okay, that is such a good debate. Watch it if you haven't watched it, everybody. It's fantastic.
Anne Widdecombe's the one who talks like she's got.
one-sided.
Anne Widdecombe's the one who talks like she's sat on a cactus.
Ouch. Well, that's being a Catholic woman. I don't know what to tell you.
Yes. Stephen Fry actually tore her a new one in that debate, didn't he?
Really
Yes.
did. Yeah. He
Yeah.
pulled no punches.
He went in harder than Hitchens did. That surprised
He
me.
did.
It was
He
beautiful.
really did.
It was a thing of
was
beauty.
It was a
absolutely
good
amazing.
debate. Right. Seraphim says, knife saleswoman. Not sure why that's a ridiculous job. Then they're giving us lots of maths questions.
Thinking it's a pyramid scheme.
And they never
True.
looked at Anne Widdecombe.
So
They don't even give you knives to sell.
Mummer Atheist says, NASA next.
Oh,
That's a ridiculous.
I don't think
That's
that was in
ridiculous.
answer to your question.
That was a ridiculous. That's a
Dave.
ridiculous.
Ridiculous jobs. No?
Well, I mean, if we're working on the basis that space isn't real and the Earth is flat, then it could be argued that it's a ridiculous job.
No, but I think it's ridiculous in an abstract sense. If I was applying for NASA, I would consider it absurd that I was applying for them. Because it's
fuck
NASA.
off. I'm
Would you
saying
not?
it for you, Mum Atheist.
It's not a ridiculous. I mean, it's not a ridiculous job.
No, not in that.
That's the point. You're talking about a ridiculous job that you applied for, not that it was ridiculous for you.
No, but... Well,
Yeah, I get your point.
Okay.
I didn't, so if I
Giving up.
overreacted, I apologize.
No,
I just
no,
thought you were
his
saying that
point
working for
is-
NASA was ridiculous, full stop. and
It's
I was like,
ridiculous,
no,
not in
is-
an objective sense. In the same way as turning around and saying you're going to apply to be president. You're going to
Oh, I
apply,
see.
as in it is something that is bigger than life.
Yeah, if
in
somebody
that
was
sort
going
of
to,
sense.
yeah, I
Considering
get
who
that. It'd be ridiculous for me to apply to NASA, for example. That would be ridiculous. But
to be honest, considering who you've got right now, anyone else applying to be president is less fucking ridiculous.
I think we need at least an interview process and background checks. Something.
Yes.
I don't know. There need to
I
be
have an
more
answer.
criteria.
Go on, B.
So when I got to where I live now, I was just looking for jobs everywhere. I just applied to like 30 jobs in like 2 days. And now, mind you, remember I'm an ex-truck driver, so I've drove big trucks. And so I applied to be a van driver for the local transportation system. And then they sent me an email saying they found someone more qualified.
Mother hush bucket. Who?
Or somebody who drove motorbikes.
Okay.
Oh,
You're telling me you can drive a van better than I can? Like my pickup truck's like a toy to me.
yeah. I mean, I don't mind if somebody is more qualified, but how on earth would they find some in that instance? That's weird.
I can hazard a guess.
Because they were like, you need to keep track of mileage, take care of paperwork, do
Did
customer
you find out
service. I'm
whether or
like,
not it was a guy?
That's what I did for 12 years. Huh?
Yeah.
Did you find out whether or not it was a guy that got the job?
No, but I'm gonna tell you, every time I see those vans, they look kind of like they're like the handicap sized vans that we used to have,
Oh.
And every time I see those, it's always like some little Spanish dude driving it. So I guess the person in charge is probably Spanish. And if I would have put maybe Gonzalez as a last name, or what's a good one around here? Trujillo. Trujillo. If I would have put that down as a last name, I
Oh,
probably
that's
would've got the job. Or maybe like a male name. That might have been a good idea.
Instead of Reaper a lot.
I get that a lot. I get it a lot because my first name's Elizabeth. And they're like, oh, girl. I'm like, no, dude, I can kick your ass. Not girl. Not girl. More testosterone than you have in your pinky. But anyways.
Sammy said, selling online university business degrees door to door. That's how Kent got his.
Oh! Hold on, I'm going to change my answer. When I lived in Florida, I was one of those meat people that sold the steaks out of the back of the truck with the freezer in it with the blocks of ice. and the meat was like okay, and they charged way too. It was like $300, and this is now mind you 1990. It was like $300 for a case of that meat, and it wasn't good. Like it was okay, but it wasn't like prime grade A steak, you know. And
until this moment, I didn't know that actually happened.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was.
I thought
that was a TV thing.
How many bodies did you transport?
No, they literally still have those people. So they would go around to all the trailer parks when they got their food stamps, because back then they were actual food stamps, and they go around to the trailer parks, and these people would spend all their food stamps on this box of meat, and I hated it because I have a conscience and integrity, and so they would go to people's houses and they'd say, oh, well, I don't know. And then they'd say, well, if I could fit it in your freezer, then you buy it. And they'd go, all right, you're not going to fit that in my freezer. My freezer's this big. And these guys would just cram it in there, every little corner they could. They go, oh, it fit, So this guy that's training me, I'm there for 2 weeks, right? This guy's training me, and he's got me at this old couple's mobile home, and they're like 90 or something. And he's convincing them, and they're talking about it. And he's like, all right, well, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go out and have a cigarette. And before I went out to have a cigarette, I said, don't buy it. Don't waste your money on it. So they were almost convinced, and I went out to have a cigarette, came back in, and he's pulling the meat out of the freezer. And I was like, he said, oh, they said they didn't, they didn't want it. And I was like, okay. So we go outside. He goes, I don't know. I really thought I had that sale. I don't know what happened. So I went back. We went back. It was the end of the day. And we went back, and I just told the guy, you could just fuck off. I can't do this job. And he's like, what? And I'm like, it's dishonest, and it's not a good price, and it's not good quality meat. And I quit. So I just can't do dishonest. I can't do it.
Working in sales generally can be you to be very good in sales. I think you probably have to be a bit dishonest.
Oh yeah, you do.
That's why I don't do sales. I don't believe in the product fully 100%. I cannot endorse it.
Yeah, I can't. I find it hard to do sales because I can't lie to people about shit.
Yeah.
To the point that when I was doing sales, I taught clients out of buying things.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I did that exact thing when I worked at Starbucks. And they do have really nice quality bean grinders. Don't get me wrong. Like any Starbucks product, any of their obviously their bags of beans and stuff is awesome, but like the actual like coffee makers and stuff, they are awesome. They're great. But you can get something that's gonna you can get an equivalent that's gonna last just as long and be just as awesome for like way cheaper. Like we had a bean grinder that was like a $90 bean grinder, and I just looked flat at a woman and I said, go to Target, don't buy that here. Go to Target, get a bean grinder for $15 that will last just as long. Because it was that same thing. I was like, I don't care how. Job. I did not. Luckily, the manager didn't hear me. I worked there for way too long, and I really didn't give a fuck at that point. So it would have been okay.
I mean, that's how I am, though. Honestly, I just can't. I can't do that, man. People, they're on fixed incomes. They're old people, or they're And when I see these homeless people running around with the food stamp cards, because they sell them to each other and stuff, and they're running around with them and they're just buying junk food, and I'm like, God, I'm paying for you to buy that junk food. Fuck you. Pisses me off. But go buy some like lettuce or something.
How are you gonna survive on lettuce?
Anyways, rant over.
Right, there are two comments, B. There are two comments about what you said that are important. The first one from the non-community is B was a meat person?
I couldn't think of the word sale. It's too early.
And Pine Snake says, Critical Cripple, why have you brought someone with integrity onto this stream? This is just not on.
I like it.
Okay. Fine, I'll go. No.
Right. Ike said, I applied for multiple... We can corrupt you. No, I have a distinct impression she'll be the one doing the corrupting.
Oh, dear.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, I had a thought. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, Dave, don't put thoughts like that in my head. I'm going to sleep after this. Although...
Jen, I've seen some of the tools.
What were you saying, Dave?
Available.
I've tried this.
Oh, sorry, bad.
I have a good toolbox.
Uh-huh. The question is why do you keep those things in there?
Instead of selling the meat, you should have sold Battenberg. This is good.
Frozen Battenberg.
We unfreeze it before we eat it.
Battenberg is the worst of the cakes.
It is the best cake that exists in Cake Land.
No, it's not. Right. Ike says, I applied for multiple...
Forest cake.
I don't like Black Forest cake either. I applied for multiple top-secret design projects, only to be sold... Yes. Despite being trained to use their sibling equipment, I was unqualified.
We can't take Dave's opinion on anything food-related. He doesn't like cheese.
I've missed out on a
Cheese is
few jobs
horrible.
for being told I was overqualified for them.
I was told that
Oh,
once
yeah.
and I burst into tears because I really needed a job. I was like, I don't care. I really need a job.
I applied to
happened
be
to me
the
too.
network manager at a high school.
Mm.
Sorry. Kirby.
Yeah, that happened to me too. I was going to EMT school, so I quit driving truck and I applied everywhere, and they were all like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to hire you. And I was like, well, just be honest. Is there something wrong with my resume or something? And they were like, well, we're going to spend all this money training you, and then you're going to go somewhere else because this is a lower level job than what you're qualified for. And I'm like, well, I just need money. I need money. That's it.
I don't
Just
get
someone
this.
can hire me.
Yeah, I applied
So, yeah.
for a job as a network manager at a high school. So I would have managed their network and done, or set up the computer stuff and set up the computer lab for the kids and everything and make sure all that was working. And they said, you're way too qualified for this job. And I go, I don't care. I want a job and it's good hours for me. And I get school holidays off, which suits me with my kids and everything. And they go, no, but what'll happen is you'll get a better job when you leave us. So we're not going to employ you. You what? I was the best qualified person applying for the job and I couldn't get it because I was too qualified.
But if you're applying for a job that you're underqualified for because they provide you with better,
Circumstances,
the job is
yeah.
better than anything that you are, that is in your qualification range. Surely that means you'd be more dedicated to that because it provides you with better shit.
The problem is we live in a society right now that the dollar value is the only thing that's considered important.
True.
Even though in reality
basically
that's...
they were looking at it like I think the job paid like it was only at the time it was fairly low. It paid like 45,000 a year, and at the time I could have easily earned 70. So they were like, no, we're not going to employ you because you could earn twice this amount, and so when you find a job like that, you're just going to leave.
Right.
No trust on that I would have stayed, and I would have stayed because it was perfect for me.
Oh.
It's about what suited me. So.
Hello.
Ridiculous jobs.
Well, let me think of a couple of examples for you. So, I once applied for an IT support job, and I went in. They did one of those funny group interviews where they get you to do like a. You go in for the interview and they gather you all in a room and they get you to do like some shit.
Oh, I hate those.
One of the things after all the talking bit, they wanted us to diagnose a problem with a laptop without Googling anything. I was there like, you don't fucking understand how IT support works, do you?
That's. I mean, even as a technical writer, that's half my job.
Yeah.
It's like Googling shit. Like, I don't know what this means. Google. Okay, I got it.
What is this error code? Oh, that's what it means.
That's insane. That's silly. They were silly people.
They were.
Another job
Right.
I
Next.
did was a care job with it was a care job looking after autistic people, but they didn't provide the staff with consistent shifts, so they were never in on the same days. Now,
That's fucking daft.
That's
That is really daft.
one. I think any business, except in very exceptional circumstances, that can't provide a regular, consistent schedule for its staff is poorly managed. But particularly if you're trying to provide care for autistic people.
Yes, change is bad. The regular routine is very important.
Regular routine is very, very important there.
Yeah. Please. Okay.
To be quite honest, I'd argue that even if you were not autistic, I think regular routine makes everyone more comfortable that you're taking care of.
True.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, for sure.
I'll give you a quick example from one of the training things for caring for autistic people. This is an example one, not one I directly experienced, but there's a person who is going into a complete meltdown and nobody can figure out why. And eventually they work out it's because some new care person who'd never worked with this person before threw away a box of old jumpers. And this box of old jumpers is the thing that person goes to whenever they're feeling stressed and is now no longer able to function.
Yep. That's an excellent example.
Bastards. Right. Next question, I think.
That wasn't my answer though, Dave.
Was it not?
That was just a side thing. No, my answer was, when I was still a Christian, I actually applied for a job as a chaplain in a high school.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I did.
Did you get it?
No, I did not. I got into the last round of interviews, though. Well, I was a youth leader, and I ran youth groups, and I did sermons and shit. I wasn't a fundy, but I was pretty religious.
Yeah.
I would have completely altered your future life if you got that job.
Maybe.
Not really.
I mean, it might have made it harder to, you know.
Or
You might have ended up in the clergy project, but other than that.
Or it might have sped up your leaving of religion.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I probably would have, but that was beside the point. I mean, I'd already transitioned when I applied for the job, so there wasn't a problem.
It was leaving religion.
And
I was
the
worried
school I
about.
went to was a government school, so there wasn't prejudice against. That wasn't the reason I didn't get the job.
No, I was talking about just like the later becoming an atheist thing.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Oh, that would have been a problem.
Yeah.
I didn't become an atheist until about 5 years later, and I doubt I would have kept the job for 5 years anyway.
I think one of your sermons could have been very, very interesting. I'd like to hear. I'd actually like to hear a priest call Satan a cockwomble.
I didn't swear when I preached.
Well,
Of course you did. You're Australian.
No, I didn't. I used to have a lot more control over my language.
Fuck off.
I thought you were going to say your mouth,
Come on,
not your
man.
language.
Come on, ban Snake from the chat. Please.
Yeah. If I had a mouth like this when I went to apply for that job, there's no way they would let me into any of those kids. Hang on, that didn't sound right.
You know, I think you're putting a lot of undue faith in the child protection services related to.
Oh dear.
Oh, Badger!
Harsh but fair.
All right, now I'm going back into my blanket.
Oh well. Badger,
Right.
just for that, House of Mouse.
Fuck off.
I remember being in a blanket fort as a kid watching Disney cartoons. I will forever
Oh
associate.
my god.
Oh,
Dave,
you made
next question.
Badger go away. Dave.
Right.
I'm just gonna rage quit.
I've ruined blanket forts.
It's okay, Badger. I used to sneak frogs into blanket forts. I grew up in the South. It was fun.
Isn't that
Yes.
where was it that
See
people
that.
lick frogs? Did you lick frogs?
No, I've never licked a frog. That's a stupid thing to do.
Is
We
it?
don't.
I have no
my
idea.
mom had science degrees, so we used to take the hearts out and put it in salt water and watch them beat.
Oh, dude. Oh no, I couldn't have done that at the time. But later
Well,
on,
no,
dissecting
because-
frogs was badass.
I got frogs in the garden.
Yeah, because we knew it was all scientific, so it was fun. You know, it's science.
So taking it was
She
fun.
sat underneath the lamp, and we just stared at it for the entire time it was beating.
I've got frogs in the garden, but it's kind of difficult to get a good video of them, unfortunately, because they hide.
I used to get them quite a lot. I used to get them quite a lot in my garden, so we used to have a pond. But...
toads to get high.
So what's the next question?
I
Dave?
was in Costa Rica and,
Actually, hold
saw
on,
this
there's
really
Dave
cool
on there.
frog. I was in Costa Rica and saw this really cool frog in a bush, and I had my, because I have an expensive ass camera, I had my camera with me, and I was taking pictures of all the little, you know, it's cool. They have different animals there than what we have. So I was like, ooh, and I'm like right up by this frog, and a guy walks by and taps me on the shoulder and said, that's poisonous, and if it barely touches you, you'll end up in the hospital. And I guess it was like that poison dart frog or something, whatever it was.
The venomous dart frog.
It was beautiful though, but it was really, it looked like a little baby frog. It wasn't a baby frog. It was effing poisonous. And I'm over there like playing with it and following it around, taking pictures. Anyways.
Right.
Carry on, Dave. Carry on.
Question 615.
And back camera. Do you have to bend over to take those photos?
Well, it was underneath the leaves.
Oh,
And I
okay.
saw it from a distance, so I was like, you know, trying to get a good shot. I was almost laying on the ground.
How many questions have we got to get through today, Dave?
At this rate we're going, 3.
Next question,
We've managed
I was
one.
gonna say
We're
one. You're
still
being
on the
generous.
first question.
Dave, next question.
Honestly, Dave, the longer you've been doing this show, the less we actually answer questions.
If you enjoyed that, please hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. If you think you've got a better answer or just want to tell us how wrong we are, leave a comment down below. Subscribe down here for new questions every day and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on our live shows. If you click over here, you'll see our latest upload. Over here, for what YouTube thinks you'll love the most. And finally, for a complete playlist of all our currently released questions, click here.